Minasan, Ohio, Konnichiwa, Oyasumi. I'm Iris, and today we are doing the Harry Potter Chamber of Secrets movie versus book review. I'm gonna try not to ramble this time. I don't know if it's gonna work, but um, uh, I apologize that it's taking this long. I mean, I these are not going to be as quick as the movies coming out. I have been trying to focus on getting the actual reactions out. I don't want to neglect the book readers. I want to still put this out for you guys. I've still been taking notes as I've been listening to the audiobook, so you don't need to worry about that. But yeah, let's just get right into it. Just to start off, I want to talk about the characters. Some of the new characters we got this book was Lucius and Dobby and Tom. um, Dobby is a very interesting character. He's a house elf. We see him being very hard on himself, and you can tell that the kind of abuse he gets at home just because how he's taking stuff out on himself. He's like, I know that my master will be mad if I did this, so I'ma just punish myself even though they're not around, which is so very sad. But he gets a good ending. I was very happy about that. And Lucius is very like, he's just we see where Draco gets it from. He's a more reserved Draco. he knows, because he's not a child, he knows that he has to keep these things hidden. He has to keep his true emotions inside so he can do his little nefarious dealings and not look suspicious to everybody else. And Tom, I had no clue really who he was. I mean, once we got into in the movie, when we did the reaction, once we got down into the chamber, I was like, okay, you're suspicious. Like, what are you doing here? Why do you still look like a teenager? But yeah, I can actually say I genuinely liked all the characters. I think I liked Tom a little bit more in the book as well, just because I guess we got to see more into how he was feeling about being in this diary and having to talk to this teenage girl this whole time. I think I just enjoyed his suffering. That's what it was. Which, that sounds bad, but it's like, you deserve it, you know? But yeah, let's just get right into the plot. When we start this one of the differences with the whole Dobby situation, he actually did not drop the pudding on their guest's head. It was actually someone from the Ministry of Magic, I'm assuming, or it's either the Ministry of Magic or, yeah, it was the Ministry of Magic. They sent a letter by Owl, dropped the letter on this lady's head. She's terrified of birds. I can relate to her on that. And she just zooms out of the house. So Harry reads the letter, and it's basically saying, like, you're forbidden from using magic as a minor outside of Hogwarts. Like, this is a warning. And of course, Vernon makes him read it out loud. So now they're like, oh, you can't use magic outside of school. That they're pissed because they've been afraid of him this whole time, and so of course they punish him. They lock him up in his room, and Harry's just upset because he's like, I didn't even use magic. That was Dobby. So he's locked in this room for days. They're sending him like cold soup. I'm feeling so bad for Harry. Luckily, like 3 days later, Ron and his brothers come and get him. They're like, Harry, let's go. I've been worried. Ron said he sent like 12 letters telling him to come to their house during the summer, and he just had to come and check on him. Which I'm like, you're a good friend, Ron. Y'all stole your dad's car to come pick up Harry. But the one of the differences is that Harry's school supplies is not in the room. They locked his what is it called, like his chest and all his stuff in the cupboard. So Fred and George are like, okay, we just gonna pick this lock. Like, all our friends say this is stupid, we don't need to learn that kind of stuff, but we was like, we gonna learn all kind of ways to get in and out of places. So they pick the lock, they go down the stairs. Harry goes and helps them bring the chest up the stairs, and they actually succeeded. They did not wake anybody up. It was actually Hedwig, because they forgot Hedwig in the house. Hedwig's like, excuse me, I've been locked here this whole time. They won't let me out. Y'all better not forget me. So Hedwig is like screeching, and Vernon comes. I don't think he got pulled out the window, but you know, they kind of like pushed him off, and Harry's gone. They're in the car, and Harry actually tells them that, you know, the house elf came. He doesn't know where he came from. He doesn't know what's true or not. He's telling him that he can't go to school, or he shouldn't go to school. And, you know, Fred and George are like, you know, house elves obey their masters. Most likely, like, this is somebody who doesn't like you. Do you know anybody that has money who can afford a house elf that doesn't like you? And I think they automatically assume that is Draco, which technically, but it was, you know. But they head to the house, and the same deal with their mom is doting on Harry, and then she's yelling at them like, go do some chores, go out there and, you know, go get them gnomes. Was it gnomes? It was something that was in the garden. And Harry was like, no, I want to help. Harry's just so fascinated by this house. They show it a lot more, how excited and happy he is to be in the house. And I think a cute moment is when he goes to see Ron's room. It's just all orange and it's just so adorable. But, you know, Ron is kind of nervous because he's thinking like he doesn't want Harry to kind of judge what he has. But Harry is just like, I love you guys' house. I love being here. And Ron's just blushing. That was a very cute moment for me. I really liked that. But Harry gets to stay here for a while. It wasn't just like one day like they showed in the movie. He was there for a while. And I think that's really when he got really close to the Weasleys, because they spent all this time together and they're showing that they like spending time with Harry. Harry's basically saying, this is one of the first times people genuinely want to be around me, and it's like kind of amazing. Which is it's just sad. It's sad, but I'm very happy that he's finally getting, you know, people who genuinely care. But like, I couldn't imagine if he had to stay with the Dursleys his whole life, or until he reached adulthood. That would have been, he would have had, I think, more issues. But luckily that didn't happen. This is when we get the letter about getting the books and stuff for Lockhart. We actually also seen some of Lockhart's books in the house. Their mother, Miss Weasley, is a fan of Lockhart, so she has stuff there, and I'm pretty sure that's why she was kind of excited to be at the little book signing. And that's, you know, when we get to, what is it, Nocturne Alley, and Harry sees, you know, Draco and his dad, and he learns that they hate Hermione, and you know, all the crazy stuff that Draco was saying about Hermione was only because she's Muggle born and she is achieving things that he isn't. She's top of her all her classes. And I mean, Draco and Lucius both don't like her, and I'm just like, y'all so petty. But you know, Harry gets out of that situation, sees Hagrid, and he actually tells Hagrid about Dobby as well. You know, skip, we get to actually, you know how Hermione fixes Ron's glasses? It was actually Mr. Weasley. He fixed the glasses, you know, when he went off to have a lunch with Hermione's parents. But once we get, you know, to the book signing, we learn that Lockhart is going to be the Defense Against Dark Arts teacher, and they're still acting super weird about Harry. Lockhart, I forgot about Lockhart, to mention Lockhart, one of the new characters. I feel like I'm Harry in this book because how just done he is with Lockhart. Like, he is actively running from Lockhart this whole book. Yeah, so Draco still mouthing off. You know, he's jealous that Harry's getting all this attention. They're taking his photo or his picture for the Daily Prophet, and he's talking crazy to Ron and his family. Ron, they need to hold him back once again from fighting Draco. And Lucius is saying crazy stuff. And Ron's dad is like, what's his name? Arthur. He actually was not calm and collected in the book. He actually was fighting Lucius, and Hagrid had to break it up. Hagrid was there. He's like, and then Miss Weasley's yelling at Arthur like, how is this a good example for your kids? Pull it together. But I couldn't, like, the way they be talking is like insane to me, because technically they are, you know, an established family, a wizard family, and they talk crazy to them because they don't have all this money. They have 1,000 kids. Like, just let them be. He has this regular government job. They don't say anything about Miss Weasley. I don't know if she's a housewife, but like, bro, the kids are fine. They're happy. They have a good life. Just leave it. Why y'all messing with it? After that whole nonsense, we get to the day for them to go to Hogwarts Express. They have to go to the train station, and they take the car, but they do not fly it. I don't even think Miss Weasley know it's a magic car yet. And this is when we learn too that the reason that they do the flu powder and all that stuff is because the kids cannot use any type of, you know, I mean, we already know this, but they establish it again. Like, this is how we travel, because the kids cannot transport themselves anywhere. Even though we're here, they still cannot use magic outside of the school. The whole reason that they were late too was that all the kids were like, oh, I forgot something. They get in the car again. Oh, I forgot something. Oh, I forgot. Nope. Once we get back to this house, y'all better make sure y'all all look, we going back one time. Y'all better all have what y'all need, or it's just gonna be at the house. Y'all not going. I might send it by mail later, by owl, whatever. But we're not going back. They was so late because each kid forgot something. And, you know, the same thing happened where Ron and Harry couldn't get through. And their first thought was, let's take the car. Okay. Let's take the car. Ron actually didn't make the mistake of like turning the invisibility off, on super late. He did do it, but I think what the issue was in the book was that they would fly. They were flying for hours, so it was taking so long. But every time they had to try to see where the train was, so they would come down out of the clouds or whatever and take their invisibility off. And so they were going up and down, and that's how they got caught. You know, the whole thing with the tree. Dang, what's the tree called? Is it the weeping willow? I don't. Am I making something up right now? I think that's what it's called. The tree that hits back, as Ron says. And they get there. It's the sorting ceremony, and they're watching it from the window. They're looking at, you know, everything that's going on. They realize, why is Snape not there? It's because he's behind you. So they have to go to his office. They learn, you know, everybody's seeing the car. People was taking pictures, and it's just a bad time, you know, because now Harry is, they're not saying where they got it from because they're scared to get Ron's dad in trouble. And I think this is when, wait, I'm looking at my notes, y'all. Yeah, they basically didn't want to tell him because, you know, Ron's dad, his job is, you know, to find people or confiscate things that are Muggle artifacts, but people have used magic to alter them, basically. Misuse of Muggle artifacts. So Snape went to Professor McGonagall, and she was reasonable. She's like, okay, explain to me what happened. They explained, they couldn't get through, yada yada yada. She's like, so why y'all didn't call? Why didn't y'all contact us? Ron and Harry is like, that's a good question. They're like, we didn't think of, our first thought was to take this magic car. We didn't think about calling y'all. I think that was very funny. But you know, Harry found the loophole. He was like, can we get in trouble? Like, you know, y'all shouldn't take points or nothing from us because technically the semester hasn't started yet. And McGonagall has this little like smirk on her face. She's like, fine, y'all get detention and y'all cannot go to the feast, so y'all eat here in this office. Fine. So of course Snape is pissed off. And you know, the boys get to their to the Gryffindor common room, and everybody is just freaking out like, oh, that's so awesome, I can't believe you did that. They're like super famous, everybody's all up on them. Hermione's like, why would y'all do that? Of course she's like ready to lecture them. So this is when the Lockhart shenanigans begin. He is notorious for saying that he can do things that he cannot do. He's telling everybody he's a pro, he can fix the weeping willow, as if the herbologist teacher, this is not her job. This is her job. But he kind of starts acting weird towards Harry. He's upset and jealous that Harry got the front page, because remember, they took the pictures and all that at the book signing. He was supposed to be on the front page, but this whole thing with the car has put Harry and Ron on the front page. And he's basically like, okay, I think I actually put it down somewhere. He said, I was just as much as a nobody as you are, and talking about like he won the Smile Award, and like defeating Voldemort doesn't touch that. Like, how how delusional can you be to say that Harry defeating Voldemort is not on par with you winning a Smile Award? Okay, sir. So you know, this continues. Shenanigans is following Harry. Colin is out here with the camera trying to take pictures, and Draco's over here saying that Harry's taking pictures and signing stuff, embarrassing him in front of everybody. And he has the nerve to say that Harry's signature probably is worth more than Ron's house or something like that. He said something crazy like that. And why Ron is ready to fight him again. But Lockhart inserts himself into the situation, and he's he's assuming that Harry wants this attention. Like, he's telling Harry to calm down. But yet he inserts himself into the picture. So Colin takes a picture of Harry and Lockhart. Harry's like trying to get out the way. But Lockhart is like that throughout this whole book. He just gives me a headache. He just makes me tired. So after that whole little thing with the pictures, they go to Lockhart's class. He has the whole little quiz with 50 questions on there. When they do the little thing with the pixies, though, Hermione was not the one who nipped everything in the bud. It was a group effort. They all, 3 of them, had to get the pixies and put them in the cage. We move on to them seeing Hagrid. Hagrid jokes about wanting a signed photo. Harry is, not you too, Hagrid. He's like, I'm joking. And I guess Lockhart was saying stuff to Hagrid because he talks down to Hagrid, and he's saying stuff about Harry, and he basically tells him, like, Harry's more famous than you without even trying. I bet that set Lockhart off. I'm pretty sure that's why he ran out of the house. We also learned that Lockhart only got... So remember how I was asking people, like, why does Lockhart have this job? Like, every scene, the professors are, like, looking at him like... That's basically the face they were making every time. Even Dumbledore. So we learned from Hagrid that he was the only one who applied for the job. Like, everybody thinks this position is cursed. And even though there's always been rumors that Snape wants the job, but basically everybody thinks that this is a cursed position. So literally Lockhart got it because he was the only person who applied. Makes sense. This makes perfect sense, because it's like, how? When they're still in the house, we learn that Ginny had been snooping or looking around Hagrid's house, and that she was looking for something or somebody. They leave in the little breadcrumbs. It goes over everybody's head, but it's there. Harry has his detention. He's sorting through fan mail so Lockhart can show him how amazing he is. And and Harry hears the voices, of course. Yada yada yada. It was another moment that caught my attention. Harry is off from practice and he's tracking Mud in. You know, he's talking to Nearly Headless Nick. And we learned a little fun fact about Nearly Headless Nick. He's had when he was being executed, he said at least 45 times they was chopping at this dude's neck. That is so horrifying. I guess you can say it's reasonable unless they're, this is their job as an executioner. They have the, weapons that's, sharp enough for this, and they just don't hesitate. But 45 times, was they using a regular knife that they eat with to try to chop his head off? Like, why was it 40? I'm like, this is so dark. Why would they take? I feel so bad for him, and he can't even get into the little squad because he's not actually headless. I feel so bad for him. He went through all that. It's like, man, I wish they did do it. But Filch comes in. He's yelling at Harry about tracking mud, and after he's done cleaning the whole hallway, so he has to go to his office, and we hear all this booming, like something's going on, and Filch zooms out of there because he figures, I can't remember who he thought it was, but he zooms out of there, and Harry sees on his desk that there's like this quick spell beginners class, and it's kind of odd because he's like, why would he need this? Like, to me it sounds like some kind of scam to teach adults magic, but it's like, if it's so beginner, these people probably don't have magic. They would have learned this stuff when they were still teenagers, right? They would have went to some kind of magical school to learn this stuff. But so when Filch comes back, he's like super embarrassed about it, that he's seen it, and he just lets Harry off. Harry's like, thank God. And Harry's just like, you know what, Nick, I owe you big time. And he's like, oh, come to my 500 death day party. So Harry feels obligated to go. Hey, it'll be interesting, right? This death day party is actually at the same time that the Halloween feast is going on. So of course we drag Ron along because he wants to go to a feast, and Hermione is kind of excited because humans usually don't get to go to these parties. It's definitely very eerie, and it's all ghosts, and they're trying to be respectful of them. They have food, but it's looking kind of, And this is where we meet Myrtle. Hermione is like, she don't want to have nothing to do with it, but Peeves is bullying Myrtle off top, and Myrtle just flies away back to wherever she was at, crying. And this, as they're leaving the party, because they're like, okay, we're hungry, we gotta go, like, this was a good time, we got to see y'all, all the headless huntsmen doing their thing, so we're gonna go now. And that was actually, I will say, it would have been cool to see in the movie that whole party, but I could understand why they took it out. But I think that it was a very good addition to the story. So we leave the party, and Harry hears the voice again. He runs after it. This is when we get to the hallway where it has the whole bloody message going on. And of course, Harry gets blamed for everything. They take the cat to Lockhart's office. Dumbledore is like, y'all need to stop. This is some high level magic. There's no way that Harry did this. Snape is like, I guess, but like, where were y'all at? And they're kind of like, and they say they went to the party, but he's like, why didn't y'all go straight to the feast? And they're like, and Snape basically says that his punishment should be that he can't play for the Quidditch team. I think I wrote down what McGonagall said because she was not having it. Oh, she said it wasn't knocked over the head with a broomstick. I feel you, sis. What, you trying to take our seeker away for some, he didn't do this. You thought we was just gonna let you Snape, stop it. Stop it. um but you know, they had this whole thing about, you know, he did this because he found out I'm a squib type thing. So Harry's like, what is that? And nobody answers. So later Ron tells him that a squib, wait, I wrote it down. So a squib is a normal person born into a wizard family. And I guess it's extremely rare. Which, to me, that sounds worse than being muggle born. Because, I mean, the wizard, I mean, most people, I feel like most people accept them. But I feel like growing up around wizards without having magic, I mean, both sounds like being around muggles with magic would be bad. But I feel like this might be a little worse, because I feel like the jealousy of it all too. Like, why am I the only one who didn't get powers? Like, that's probably why Filch is just upset all the time, because he's around. Like, I can't believe he's working at this school. I wouldn't want to be reminded like all these kids get to have what I didn't have, and that's why he's like torturing them all the time, like trying to get them in trouble. But we learn about the legendary chamber. We learned it in history class. You know, in the book, their class is taught by a ghost, and you know, he's very boring, but you know, he explains to them what the deal is. And you know, it's the same story, it's just a different teacher. And after the class, Ron basically says like he would just straight up go home if he was chosen to go to Slytherin. And Harry realizes right then that he never told them that he was like technically supposed to be Slytherin and he chose Gryffindor. Of course, he ain't about to tell him right now. I don't know if he ever tells him. I don't think he does. As far as what I've read, they have not told them. They go and investigate and whatnot, and they see the spiders, and Ron tells us that he does not like spiders because Fred changed his teddy bear into a huge spider when he was 3 years old. Fred, why did you... I would be traumatized too. I don't like spiders necessarily, but like, that's trauma. 3, and it's my freaking toy. So, you know, the whole thing with the spiders, the water, and all the water came from Moaning Myrtle's bathroom. She flooded the hallway again. She's upset, and because of the stuff that Peeves said, she, I guess, flooded the bathroom and it got in the hallway. And she says that she didn't see anything because she got like she was so distraught from Peeves. So they figure, what are we gonna do? They figure out, okay, we're gonna try to pretend to be Crabbe and what's the other dude's name? Can't remember. But they're gonna try to pretend to be Draco's friends so they can get information out of them. They want to get the potion book, and they didn't just get it easily like they did in the movie. They had Lockhart sign for it. They basically complimented him, and he didn't even read what he was signing. So they got the book. So then they had to figure out, how are we gonna get these ingredients? Whew. We don't know. They're scared at this point, and Hermione's like, I'm Muggle born. Like, I'm doing this. Like, you guys are saying, should we? I'm not just gonna sit back, is basically what she's saying. Like, she has to convince them that this is ridiculous. We're going to figure this out, or at least I'm gonna figure this out. So they're like, okay, we're gonna do it. You know, they mentioned some more stuff about Guinea being upset about the cat, like she's distraught about it. Yeah, they leave a lot more hints. You know, we get to the Quidditch game, and you know they realize that the same thing, somebody is trying to attack Harry. Fred and George is trying to defend him. They call a timeout, and they're like, we need to figure this out. We should try to, you know, ask for an inquiry about the what is it, the bludger. Why is this thing only chasing Harry? Harry's like, nah, I got this, don't even worry about it, I got this. And the thing with Draco, he did not have that little chase scene. That was fun. I like that they added that in the movie. But they should have added that moment about the inquiry where Harry was like, but you know, Draco had the little snitch near him. He thought that Harry was about to attack him, so he dove away. Harry got it. His arm got broken. Whole thing with Lockhart. Don't know what he doing. It's wild that Harry told him, no, don't do it. I don't want you to do it. He did it anyway. He should have been fired after that. Like, I don't know. I think I just can't. But you know, we see Dobby. Dobby confesses that he is the reason that Harry couldn't get to the train and all that, and he admits to him, like, you're the beacon for people like me. Like, you're such a good person, and you know, things started getting a little bit better, and maybe they will continue to get better for us with someone like you around. And you know, he disappears. We see the whole thing with was it Colin that was next? And Dumbledore says something, and he might have said it in the movie as well. It just didn't hit me the same. He says that the question isn't who but how, when asked how the chamber had been opened. So he's basically telling us he knows who it is, but how the hell did they do it? How did they do it? Hey, that went right over my head. If it went over my head in the movie, or I didn't hear it, I don't know. But Ron basically, you know, he hears about the stuff about Dobby, and he's like, if Dobby keeps trying to save your life, bro, he's gonna take your life. Like, he's gonna kill you trying to take your save your life. Good point, Ron. The crew decides to stay for the holidays because they hear that Draco is staying for the holidays. Like, that's super suspicious. They also figure that this is a good time to get the ingredients. There's less students here. And Hermione's like, well, I'm gonna do it because y'all already been in trouble, and it wouldn't be as bad if I get caught. So they distract the class. So we learn about the dueling lessons, and I didn't realize that this was like a club. Like, this was just something that the students could choose to do. And of course, basically all the students just was like, oh, we get practical application, that we can duel each other, let's go. Lockhart knows his crowd because he did not put his name on this. They're like, Lockhart? And Ron is just hilarious. When, you know, we learn that Snape is helping with the class or the lessons, and Ron's like, it would be great if they just finish each other off. Ron's so vicious. Like, I feel why you would say that, but like, sheesh. And so the kids are paired off, and Harry gets paired with Draco. They do the little tickling and dancing spells on each other. They didn't blast each other away. I see that Hermione was in a headlock with one of the Slytherin girls. They just somehow they must have gotten some type of argument, because the wands was on the floor and Hermione was taken by the throat. Like, I don't know what happened. They didn't say what happened. But I think we later learned that's where she got the hair from. The snake. Harry feels guilty because everybody thinks that, he was trying to get the snake to attack the dude. And Harry's like, no, I was freaking saving him. Justin. Yeah, he thought that Hufflepuff dude thought that he was trying to kill him. Yeah, Harry is feeling guilty, so he goes to try to find Justin to like explain, apologize and explain, like, bro, that's not what it was. I was trying to help you. We cool. Why would I try to attack you in front of this group of people? And Harry hears people talking trash. Now, Harry heard them in the movie as well, but he walked away. Book Harry. So, what's up? Cause like one of the boys, Ernie, was like saying that he saw the snake actually attacking Justin. Like, bro, what are you talking about? So Harry's like, where's Justin at? And they not answering the question. They acting weird. I can't remember if they said that he was in the library, but Harry wasn't about. He actually went up to them like, what's good? Are y'all still gonna be talking trash in my face? I love to see. Book Harry is that guy. So we had the. I feel like that scene was so needed. I feel like they should have put that in it, because I mean, we heard them gossiping in the movie, but I feel like it hits different when Harry actually goes to these people and say, where's Justin? And then he goes out of the room and proceeds to find Justin laid out in the hallway. So then people come up. I think Peeves and Ernie see it. Like, Peeves is screaming that Harry did something to Justin, and Ernie is saying this crazy stuff. McGonagall is like, what the heck? And then all these students are seeing it. Harry just never catches a break. We can never have a break. Basically, the professor's concerns are, what kind of magic was used that can affect a ghost? Because, yeah, Nick was down for the count. Like, what could have taken down somebody who's already gone? So everybody's kind of confused of what's going on. Fred and George are still kind of joking about Harry being the heir, but Book Harry takes it in stride. He actually likes that Fred and George are joking, because he knows that they believe in him. They think that it's dumb that Harry could actually be the heir, so they're joking about it. So he likes the fact that they can make jokes about it, because they know and believe that Harry could not be the heir. So I love that difference in the book. I really wish they did that in the movie, because he was upset in the movie, and I feel like this makes more sense. He spent like a few weeks with them in the summer. They know Harry. Why would Harry try to kill Muggleborns? Like, they just know that it's stupid. Hedwig is still mad at Harry, but he's talking, it's Christmas season. Hedwig is feeling a little generous. So he gives him a present from the Dursleys, They give him a toothpick for Christmas and a note asking, is he gonna come again for the summer? Like, can you just stay there? I think that's wild. Just send the note. Why did you give him a toothpick? Like, forget it. Forget it. So we do the whole thing with the polyjuice potion. And we learn that it only takes an hour, I think, for it to wear off. And you know, in the movie, they're speeding stuff up. You know, we need to get to the situation, but in the book, they are getting lost. This is a big place. They're trying to figure out where Slytherin common room is, and Draco actually shows them the article about the Weasleys being fined 50 galleons because of this misuse of Muggle artifacts, and you know, they're calling for his resignation, because how can you be a part of this and you are actively adding to the artifacts that humans can get a hold to? Because that's the whole issue, that it's dangerous for Muggles. They don't know. I think they mentioned, like, you know, this thing got, you know, a charm on it. Like, I think they said like a teapot, for example, and it was like burning people. So it's like, with, of course, with the tea, but like the fact that a human can get in this car and actually, not a human, but a Muggle could get in this car and accidentally do something and freak out, and who knows, can you imagine if you got in a car like that and then just start hitting all kind of buildings? Like, it's dangerous for Muggles to get these artifacts. So they're like, how can you be a part of this? Which is reasonable. I can say actually that I could understand why they would say it. I wouldn't want him to lose his job. He got kids to feed. But I understand why he should get some kind of, you know, the 50 galleons. I can understand why he would be fined. It's reasonable, even though they need that money. It's reasonable. Harry is feeling guilty. Because he spent so much time with his family. They had so much fun. They took care of him. They fed him, you know, spoiled him. And he feels like this is his fault for getting them in trouble. Understandable. Draco says that, you know, same thing. Dad won't tell him about the heir because it'll look suspicious. And that they're lucky that they put all their dark art stuff underneath the, what room? Their drawing room. But this is the first time we hear about Azkaban prison as well. And from Draco, we hear about Azkaban prison. They're like, oh, Azkaban, that's crazy. But Ron is already in his head like, I'm about to write to Pops to get them in trouble. Since they trying to come after us, go look under their drawing room and get those dark art artifacts. I don't know if they ever mentioned again, like if his dad went to go get anything. I doubt it, because I feel like they would have gotten deep trouble, and they never said anything about the Malfoys getting in trouble. So Hermione, you know, her whole situation, she was in the hospital for weeks, coughing up hairballs and trying to, it's crazy. So but when they change to other humans, it lasts for an hour. But if they try to change into animals is where things go wrong, and it lasts for 2 weeks. So I don't know if that was just, oh, it says weeks. I didn't put the exact number of weeks. But was it she was still transformed as a cat, or it was just the hairballs and that's the reason why she was in the hospital? I don't know. They find the diary and they show it to Hermione, Um, they talked about Riddle and how he got the award for special services, and freaking Ron with his warped mind said that he probably got it for taking out Myrtle, and I was in shock because he kind of did do that. That's not why he got the award, but he got it for lying on people. But oh, Ron, stop being accurate about horrible situations, okay? But Harry feels this weird, like, because Hermione mentions that he probably got it for finding the last heir, correct? But Harry feels this weird connection to Tom Riddle in the book, the diary, and he can't explain why, but he just does. But he has no reason to fear it at this moment. But we move on. It gets to Valentine's Day. Lockhart has hired who did he hired dwarves to sing to people for Valentine's Day. They are dressed up as cupids. They're going off. One is singing to Harry. Harry's like, get away from me, I don't want to hear it. They basically tackle Harry to the ground. All his stuff is spilling all over the diary. He's trying to scramble for stuff. I think Draco almost picks it up. No, he does pick it up, and Ginny sees it and she's freaking out. Like, of course we don't, at this moment we don't know why, but she's freaking out. And Harry realizes that the ink is not on the book. Like, it got absorbed into the book. This is the only thing that doesn't have the scarlet ink on it. So that's when he gets the idea about writing to Riddle. Riddle wrote a lot more. He was talking about catching the air and adults just being weird, and the headmaster covering it up, which technically, but not really. So they get. This is when Harry gets pulled into the memory. Riddle is actually talking to the current to the headmaster that was over the school at that time, and they talk about Riddle being in the orphanage, a Muggle orphanage, and him not wanting to go near these. Like, he wants to stay at Hogwarts. Harry's feeling connected at this moment. Like, I see, like, I don't want to go back to my family. I want to be in Hogwarts. I feel like this is the same situation going on. Bad things keep happening, and I don't want to have the school get closed down. So that's another reason why they're trying to figure things out. So we start getting more into the school year, and they're starting to already pick classes for the third year. They're showing how important this is, and that the students actually get to pick and choose, because this is the stepping stones of what their career is going to be when they graduate. So everybody's picking and choosing what they think will be beneficial for them. Hermione's basically saying she wants to take everything. She wants to take everything. Hermione figures something out. She's like, oh, I gotta go. She gets petrified. Her and the Ravenclaw prefect, she also gets petrified. They find the mirror with them. They're like, what the heck is this? Nobody knows what's going on. But they get the cloak to talk to Hagrid. Cornelius Fudge, he's basically saying Hagrid's gonna have to go to Azkaban. So, you know, the same thing happens with, you know, they're saying that Dumbledore is gonna have to, basically, they're gonna hold off on him being a headmaster right now. And Dumbledore still is like, you know, any person who is loyal to me will have my help, is basically what he says. Like, even if I'm not here, so I'm gonna be down for you if you down for me. And, you know, we get to the summer. People are freaked out still, because they're thinking, with Dumbledore gone, who's to say that, you know, more bad things will happen? Like, who's to say they won't? Draco he's in Snape's class kissing butt, talking about he should apply for headmaster. And Snape is like, he's only suspended, but he's smiling about it. Freaking Snape. He says in class that he thinks that the monster should kill Muggleborns. And he hopes that it's Hermione. The fact that, like I said, the fact that Snape can be in the room with him saying this stuff and it's just A-okay is kind of crazy to me. Ron is trying to fight him all the way to herbology class. He's like just trying to throw hands the whole way there. Ernie actually talks to him during class, Harry during class, and apologizes. He kind of asks him who does he think the heir is, but you know, Harry's not about that. He sees the spiders and he's like, Hagrid said follow the spiders, and here's a whole, you know, row of spiders just like going out the window. So you know, we find the spiders, we follow them. The spiders catch them. I think it was they tied them up near when they found the car again. They tied them up. They took them back to Aragog. Is that how you say it? They mentioned that he's blind and that Hagrid had been taking care of him since he was in the egg. He helped him find a wife, and all those spiders are his kids. And you know, they talk about that, you know, the monster is not them. We are, you know, same thing, that they're afraid of the whatever the monster is, and they never attack Hagrid out of respect, but his friends are fair game. So they didn't get in that huge fight that was going on with them, like fighting them outside the car, inside the car. Like, most of that didn't happen. The car came quickly. They hit a few spiders, and boom, out of the forest. They got to Hagrid's house. Ron was freaking out. He threw up, I think, and yeah, that whole I think that was a good addition to the movie, to see that little fight. We had that whole situation with Ginny as well. She had came to them, I think, in the common room, Harry and Ron, and told them, well, she didn't tell them anything. She was going to, I think they said she was looking like Dobby when he wanted to reveal his secrets, but Percy came out of nowhere, interrupted. She kind of ran off, and Percy thinks whatever she has to say was about him, but it was really weird. They're like, what are you talking? She almost told us something like, bro, but they let it go. And when they were on the way to talk to Myrtle again, they ran into McGonagall, and they basically told her that they were going to sneak to see Hermione. She got a little teary-eyed, and she's like, it's fine, kids, go talk to your friend. And that's when they find the thing in Hermione's hand. They learn that it's a basilisk, which is what? Okay, this was part was crazy. They said it's a chicken egg hatched under a frog, and a rooster's call is its weakness. Whatever you say. Yeah, we learned that the stare of a basilisk can kill you, and that they were going to go inform McGonagall. They went to the lounge, and then they heard all this stuff about Ginny being taken. Of course, Lockhart was boosting himself up, saying that he knew where the Chamber of Secrets is. So the same thing happens where Snape is like, "Oh, you know where it is. Go get Ginny and make this thing go away." He ran off. He lies about. He confessed about lying and using magic to take people's memories. So they knock his wand out of his hand. They bully. uh, uh, they was not having it. They used the spell from the dueling lessons, and hey, they hit him, and like I said, Ron threw his wand out the window. And Myrtle, they talked to her again, and she says she remembers that there was a boy in the bathroom, and she heard him speaking. So that's why she went out of the stall, like, what the heck are you doing in here? And she seen a pair of yellow eyes, and that's how she died. And whew, same thing. Not Ron. Harry found the snake thing on the sink, and you know they got the little move on. They got it open. Skip until we get into the chamber. Harry sees Tom. He's kind of. They mentioned that he's kind of holographic. Like Harry can see through him, but it's not registering in his head. He's freaked out because Ginny is on the floor, passed out. He's trying to save her. Like, Tom, help me get her out of here. Same thing happens. Tom reveals that as Ginny had the book or the diary, she was using it like an actual diary. So she was spilling all her secrets in here. Like I said, Tom was pissed because he had to listen to this teenage girl just drone on about her problems, about her crush on Harry. And basically, as she revealed more secrets, Tom got stronger. And I think as he revealed his as well, he just kept getting stronger. So at this point, he's stealing her soul, I think is what they were explaining. And like the more basically the more opaque he gets, the more you can see him, that means the closer he is to taking her life. But Harry is like, what the because he's still talking like, you know, this is ridiculous. I have to go through all this just to, you know, steal her body. But, you know, things are moving along. And he talks about how dramatic she was when she realized that she was losing time, that she that she was finding paint and rooster feathers. So I'm assuming that when they were talking about Hagrid finding dead roosters and her Ginny around his house, that she was killing the roosters because roosters' calls can kill or affect the basilisk. So he was basically taking over her and having her do things without her knowing. And she got rid of the book. And when she seen that Harry had it during Valentine's Day, she tried to steal it back because she didn't want him to learn her secrets. Even though all the pages were blank, Tom is the only one who has the actual secrets. But I guess she was afraid that Tom would tell him. So we learn more about Tom, that, you know, the reason he hates muggles is because his father was a muggle. He left his mother, who was a witch, because he didn't like the fact that she was a witch. He thought that was all weird and crazy, and he just abandoned them. And I'm assuming, I can't remember, I think maybe something happened to his mom, and that's how he got into the orphanage. So Fox is just, I think is it Fox or Hawks? I can't remember. The Phoenix comes in. He got this whole background music while he makes his entrance. And you know, Tom is making fun of it, like, this is what Dumbledore sends you. Phoenix in a hat, an old rusty hat. And you know, he's making fun of him, but Harry is starting to get a little courage now. You know, he was a little afraid. He's like, you know, this might work out for me. And Tom is demanding, like, how did you defeat Lord Voldemort? And this is when Harry is noticing him become more solid. So he's like, this is still working for him. You know, Harry is kind of trying to make time, so he tells him that, you know, his Muggle-born mother saved him, and he was basically making fun of Voldemort, like, the pitiful state he's in, like, you know, he's out who knows where, he's desperate to get power back after I defeated him, and it was all because of my Muggle-born mother. You know, her love is what saved me. Tom basically says sacrificing a life is a great counter spell. So Harry isn't that special. He's basically saying, oh, so you really didn't defeat me. It was the sacrificing spell that saved your life. And you know, this is when, you know, they start attacking Harry. Harry's desperate. He's calling for help. And, you know, this is when he gets pushed and he puts the hat on. And I'm trying to think, was it the Sorting Hat? I can't remember if it was just a hat or if it was the Sorting Hat. But he feels it contracting on his head, and then something just hits him. He's like stunned. It hurts really. He's like, what the fuck just hit me on the head? So it's the sword. And he defeats the Basilisk pretty quickly. I don't think there was a lot of run around. He still did the same thing, you know, put it through the Basilisk's head. Tom is just like, I could still kill you. Like, well, not that I could kill you, but that you're gonna die anyway because you were poisoned. And look at the Phoenix. The Phoenix is crying because even it knows that you're dying. And Harry gets saved, and because Tom was sitting there gloating the whole time. Instead of he basically let the Phoenix, you know, save his life. So all that happened, I think, yeah, because in the movie Tom died before all this happens, but that didn't happen yet. So Harry is healed, and he was basically saying, like, he didn't care that Harry was healed. Like, he wants that 1v1. Let's go. I'm like, Tom, chill out. Like, Fox drops the diary in Harry's lap, and same thing. Boom. Tom, go on. Ginny apologized, was crying. You know, she's thinking she's gonna be expelled. This is all her fault. She wrote the diary here. She was writing to Tom. And you know, we get back, and actually it wasn't just Dumbledore. It was the Weasleys was there, McGonagall was there, and you know, Harry is like explaining the whole story. He's low-key he's keeping Ginny out of it. He's not saying what was actually going on. McGonagall is praising them, like, you know, you broke a lot of rules, but you know, you got the job done. Dumbledore says, like, he knew, and he said he wondered how Voldemort could enchant Ginny when he's in the forest of Albania. And so I think when he said that, I think was everybody out of the room? Yeah, because I'm trying to think. Once they told, okay, so Dumbledore said that not many knew about Tom being Voldemort because his transformation, and that there would be no punishment and Ginny would just be on bed rest. I think this is also when, you know, Mr. Weasley mentions, like, if you don't know where the magic is, like, if you don't know what's going on and you don't know what the magic is coming from, like, don't trust it. He was basically mad at her for why did you not tell anybody about this magic diary that you had? But luckily Dumbledore, you know, let it go. So they get special awards for services for the school. They get, Ron and Harry get 200 points each. I don't think they said that in the movie, and I was wondering, like, we don't get no points for this. I mean, we was trying to save lives, but still. Dumbledore is like, whatever about Lockhart, like, oh, he got impaled on his own sword, like, that's his fault. He tried to hurt y'all and he got hurt himself. Dumbledore confirmed that Tom is the last descendant of Slytherin. As they're talking to Lucius, Dobby is like basically trying to tell Harry, you know, the book, he's like hitting himself, and because he's basically telling on his master, but he's telling Harry, like, hey, it's him. Dumbledore basically said it was lucky that Harry and Ron found this diary, because ultimately the blame would have been fully on Ginny. Like, imagine that their plan worked. He took Ginny's soul. Maybe her body would have still been there, but they would have just assumed, like, she died trying to do this, and she was the one who was killing people. And imagine how bad that would look on Ron's whole family. Like, you guys are trying to make laws to help muggles. So it was basically like Lucius already doesn't like the Weasleys. He tried to basically take their daughter's life, and then also show that, you know, look at the dishonor she brought on their whole family. They're talking about saving and protecting muggles while their daughter is out here hurting and killing muggles or muggle-borns. That would have been crazy. So Dumbledore is definitely right about that. Dumbledore basically warns that if any more of Tom's things get into innocent hands, Mr. Weasley will connect them to you. So basically, shut this down right now. Whatever. And it's crazy because they know it's him, but they don't have evidence. And like I was saying before, all these implications about, you know, oh, people were saying that they were charmed and bewitched by Voldemort. That's how he got them to their side. Well, now we know 1000% that Lucius and his family did this all on their own, because he's still plotting to help Voldemort, help Tom come back to, like, and it's crazy. So if that worked, could Voldemort have gotten in Tom's body, or would there have just been two of them? That would have been weird. Harry threw the diary at Lucy. You know, he stopped him. That whole situation happened. He threw the diary at him. The sock was in there, and he threw that at Dobby, and you know, that's how he got set free. Dobby was with the business though when he was trying to like yell and like hurt Harry. Dobby wasn't with it, and Lucius fell down the stairs, like trying to attack. He fell down the stairs, and Dobby was like, "You better leave right now." So Lucius was out of there. So I put Dobby said he told him it wasn't about Voldemort as a hint because it was before he was actually Voldemort. But I feel like that's so confusing. Like, how was Harry supposed to know that Voldemort wasn't always Voldemort? You know? Like, how was Harry supposed to know? Nobody, the other adults don't know that. So how the heck was Harry supposed to know that? So they had a big celebration, you know. They got the big baddie out of there, Lockhart's gone. And, you know, they feasting all night. They got the house cut for Gryffindor. And, you know, they actually made sure that Lucius was no longer one of the school governors. Thank goodness. He don't need to be around no kids. And they mentioned, I think, was it on the Express, on Hogwarts Express, that Percy, the thing that Ginny saw was that Percy was kissing the Ravenclaw prefect. We could have learned what was going on, but Percy's over here talking about him making out with some... So Hermione is trying to be, you know, so positive, like, oh, I wonder if the Dursleys will be proud of you, Harry. Harry was like, they'll be pissed off that I managed to survive this. That sounds about right, Harry. Woo! This was long. Y'all should just be prepared for these to be long. Because the next one is long, and then Goblet of Fire, I looked at how long that was. That was like 21 hours. Y'all need to just be, let's have fun and just talk about the books. I genuinely really enjoyed this one. The thing I love about books, any books, is that you get to see more into the main character or whoever the character's point of view they're talking about at the time. You get to see inside their head, see what they're feeling, what's going on. I have already completed Prisoners of Azkaban, or The Prisoner of Azkaban. I'm not sure. I'm hoping within the next couple weeks I will be able to record that for you. But that was a prime example where I was just so excited to read that, just so I could see Harry's point of view about the mentors, and see how he felt about that, see how he felt about, you know, hearing his mother. And they went into a lot of detail. I feel like it was a lot darker than the actual movie was. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. Tell me what you guys liked about the books, what you like about the differences between the movie and the book. If you like the movie better, if you like the book better, what's your favorite scene in the book? Yeah, let's just have a discussion. I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.